Shabazz rang the bell in a big upset against West Orange over the weekend. And this story in the 10-7 victory will get better and better as the season goes on. We will tell you exactly why that is such a big story. Oh, my God.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Shabazz beating people is an upset anymore. I mean, come on now.
Well, the way they did.
I mean, we just saw Danny Vivino here. They beat Westwood last year. That was a big one.
So why did he do that?
I don't know. I should not have started the show.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't have started the show like this.
Where are you going?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Here we go.
This is a joke.
I designed.
You're 0-1.
Can you tell I designed the set?
You are an
here we go.
Athletic director.
Here we go.
So here we go.
That didn't take long.
Bergen, Bosco, and oh my golly, there is already a quarterback controversy up at Don Bosco.
No, there's not. Come
really?
On. We're 4 quarters into a high school football season.
But it's the last 2 that matter. All right? It's the last 2 that matter. How you been, man?
Very good.
10 years since we've done this.
Is it 10?
10.
Wow.
10. So let's see. Since we were last together, you had 3 girls. Well, you didn't have the girls in the last 10 years, but 2 are already out of college.
They're 21, 23, and 25.
And Josie, the great lacrosse player up at Colgate, how'd they do in football this weekend?
Not good, Monmouth, but much better.
Hold on, wait a minute. They lost to Monmouth?
They did.
Derek Robertson, the Iona Prep product, 4 touchdown passes. In 2 weeks, Iona Prep will be here to play Paramus Catholic. Let's see. So one's left in college.
Both coaches played at college football together at UMass. Broadway Joe and Greg Russo.
And so did Doug Phillips.
Oh, nice.
The president of this little shindig that we're doing. Okay, so let's just see. So I'm just thinking of some things. So Katie's married.
Yes.
Bry's a cop up in Westport.
Incredible.
Running into people all the time.
Yes.
And Don Bosco hasn't won a state title since 2015, and that's the last time you and I did one of these things together. 2015.
The quarterback? Tommy Cutlets.
That's
Tommy DeVito.
right.
Tommy DeVito.
I'll tell you a great story about Tommy.
Which I can never. I can never root against Tommy, even though he's a Bosco guy, and all this all this drama and Tommy DeVito. Should they keep him? 4 quarterbacks. What's going on? And the naysayers. To me, when you're a New Jersey kid, that's good enough for me. I follow when you're in the league and you're a Jersey kid. I throw everything else out the window.
Well, Jabril Peppers gets cut by the Patriots on Friday, and you're like, well, okay, Don Bosco finally gets Paramus Catholic back because they cut Peppers and they bring DeVito in to Foxborough. I'll give you a great Greg Toll story. So this is when DeVito was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And they're scrimmaging St. Joseph Hamilton down South Jersey. Natural grass. It's this high. It's a scrimmage, and they grew the grass for 3 months, right? And I forget. Darren Cooper's going to join us later. Coop, who was the quarterback when DeVito was a sophomore?
McCoy?
Yes.
Donovan McCoy?
Yeah.
McCoy?
This is why he's on the show. Give me a shot of Cooper. Can we get a shot of Coop? Vin. No, don't worry about it. It's too late. It's too late. Let me get a shot of Vin. I have put Vin through the ringer today. There he is, Vin. Happy birthday.
Hey, Vin. What team ended Tommy DeVito's career? That was his junior year. He won the state championship. In his senior year, where did his career come to an end? What helmet did we just take off the set?
Oh, you can't. He is so fun. Okay.
That would be Paramus Cap. Yeah, my man.
That's unbelievable. Coop remembers this. It's unbelievable. So we're down.
Him and you, the two of you.
And the scrimmage is over, all right? And Bosco plays really well. You know, for St. Joe's Hamilton, it was the biggest thing in the world. Don Bosco was coming down there, right? So DeVito gets in. It's probably the 3rd quarter, and his first throw is atrocious. He throws a wide side out. There ain't a Don Bosco guy within 10 yards. Interception.
I sense a Greg Tull impression is coming. Yes, I feel it.
Right? So now he settles in, and he is sensational. Sensational, right? So Greg and I are the last ones walking off the field together. And I said, hey, Greg, I don't know about, McCoy going to Rhode Island, good player. But that sophomore quarterback, hey, Mike, how am I going to start a guy who threw an interception? I'm like, Greg, there ain't one guy in the Football Hall of Fame who hasn't thrown an interception or had a fumble. He goes, so we go out to dinner about a year later or whatever, 2 years later, he goes, hey, I think you were right. I'm like, about what? He goes, yeah, I probably should have started DeVito. All right? Union City, okay, wow. They are in Ripley's Believe It or Not, but they're not in the win column. Did you hear about that game?
Yeah.
They ran.
Wilbur wasn't too happy with the physicality.
Couldn't have been, but he had to be happy with his kick return. Union City runs 0 offensive plays, and they're up 13-7 against Pascack Valley. More on that later.
How'd you like to be the new coach of PV? First play of your career. It's a 95-yard kick return. Welcome to the jungle.
And then they come right down the field and score.
Yeah, great job.
Off,
listen, we'll get into it. They did a great job.
It's 13-7. They didn't run an offensive play. Union City.
Yeah, you love those statistical
I love those
abnormalities.
That's in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
You love that. That is
13.
crazy, though.
It's unbelievable.
You think about the parents in the stands on the fence. They're looking at each other like, we're down. We were up 13-0. We haven't run a play.
You went to Don Bosco this year?
Always. Come on. You know when I was at, of course, I went to St. Joe's. I work at Paramus Catholic.
You're a Hall of Famer at
right,
St.
of
Joe's.
course. But, and my nickname at St. Joe's was Jimmy Bosco. Because, in those glory years from 2006 to 2011, when they took ownership of the state, we did our fair share on MSG Network of Don Bosco football games. And, I don't think that sat well with some of my brethren at St. Joe's. So I was known as Jimmy Bosco.
Bosco, the only team to beat Bergen Catholic in state the last 4 years.
Yeah. I did the game, Mike. It was September 26, 2022. They held the ball for 36 minutes that day, Don Bosco. Kept all Quincy Porter and the playmakers out of the picture. Chase Basontis pushing people around the Texas A&M commit. And, listen, it was that leads us to one of those "this is sports" moment, because what happened when they in the rematch?
2 months later, running clock, 45-0.
I mean, you can't even make that up. How's that even possible?
Well, it didn't look good for Don Bosco early down there in Melissa, Texas, on, what was that, Friday night? You were Paramus Catholic. We were calling the game. And then all of a sudden, they make a quarterback change. They cut it to 10-7. Vin, hit me with that highlight.
Yeah.
Here we go. Take me.
Oh, I mean, this is it. Shane comes in here, 62-yard touchdown, Jeremiah Alvarez. And just like that, the super sophomore, Carson Shane. And Don Bosco down 10-0 at the half. They would flip the script, run off 14 straight points. Don Bosco's first ever game in Texas. I think I'm going to ask Cooper this when he comes up here, even though you'll probably just yell to him. I don't know if anybody from New Jersey's ever played in Texas.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Says that's the first.
Yeah. So that's amazing, right? With all these, Don Bosco back in the day, Prattville, Alabama, California, Manatee, Florida, Bergen, IMGs, and everybody playing this weekend. You see Tennessee, Illinois. It's crazy. Nobody's ever played a team from Texas.
Shane 5 of 6, $114, and a touchdown. So that's a good win for the. Well, here's the thing, and this is the problem I have, though, and I've always said this. Just because a team gets on a plane doesn't automatically make the team they're playing great. Now, I've heard a couple of people say that Melissa, Texas, if they played in the Super Football Conference, they'd be right there with St. Peter's. So that means they're right there with Paramus Catholic, because you're stride for stride with them. I just don't know. We'll ask Coop that.
I mean, listen, they had a 6'8" lineman committed to Texas. They had a great dual threat quarterback. They were, so listen, it was.
It's a good win.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
That's a good win, and that sets the stage, already, because people start thinking about it. Bosco opens with a win, and then Bergen, like Bosco, looks like they're going to collapse. Different in that game. Bosco down 10-0, Bergen up 14-0.
Yeah.
They almost give it away, but you know how this goes in New Jersey. Everybody already has, and they did before the season, the 26th of September circled, but now they put it in pen.
Yeah.
Now, because that's when those two guys play.
And Mike, there was a time there, don't forget, we started doing this, and there was a time there when, in Greg Toll's first couple of years, when finally he got over the hump, and it was Mike Teal and Brian Toll got him over the hump. And those guys never played the out-of-state teams. They tried to.
Right.
Remember, we tried to get, they tried to get the De La Salle game, and it never happened. And then, Bosco sort of broke through that playing out-of-state mold. And, it started with, you go back to, St. Joe's, Philly, and the Valley Forge military academies. And then, of course, in 2008, the St. Xavier, Ohio, De La Salle, Prattville, Alabama, St. Ignatius, Mission Viejo. It went on and on. But now everybody plays out of state, which, you and I never loved it, okay? Because we were like, hey, take care of your own backyard first. But in a weird way, I think when you win out of state, it's something to rally around. And it does make the state of New Jersey feel a little better from a football standpoint.
I don't know. I still love the Bosco, St. Anthony, Long Island games. I love the St. Joe's regional games against Poly Prep. Like, I love that. And we'll get to it in a second. But he's in there right now, and I already went after him. And it's not his fault.
Who's that?
Danny Vivino.
Right.
All right. Why in the world are
Why would you go after Danny Vivino?
Because he makes the schedules. And I said, you know what? They've got to be playing DePaul and Bergen Catholic. And I reached out to all the boys like he asked me to. Nicky wants to play. None's on the fence. The other two got to play the game.
Let me ask you a question.
Got to play the game.
In all the years that we covered the Hurleys, Danny Hurley is the head coach of St. Benedict's.
Right.
Bob Hurley, the legendary coach of St. Anthony's.
Right.
We clamored for St. Anthony's against St. Benedict's. We said, boys, let's do it. Let's bring it together. We'll do it live on a Saturday night, Sunday night on MSG. This will be incredible. Bob Hurley, Danny Hurley, two great coaches. When can we do it? What did they say? Not a chance.
Chris Hurley said it.
Well, I mean, nevertheless, they wouldn't play each other. Sometimes that family dynamic, okay, it's just not a good idea. And the family just feels like it's not a great idea. But
got to play. I'm going to tell you this right now. They didn't play last year. DePaul lost one game. What was it, 51-50 to Del Barton? I know standing there that night at Columbia when they played Cardinal Hayes, there was not a doubt in my mind that DePaul was better than Bergen Catholic.
But let's face it, you would think Bergen Catholic has more to lose than to gain, and DePaul has more to gain than to lose because DePaul plays in the lower level, so to speak, of the non-public. They're not the heavyweight division.
It should be.
Okay, so that's their chance, like it was for years with St. Joe's. You remember when St. Joe's was ripping off 6 titles in a row, and they had to rally around those regular season games against Bosco and Bergen because they weren't going to see them in the postseason. It's kind of the same thing now. Nicky's like, hey man, if I can't listen, if they played in the postseason, if they were in the same bracket, this would be a moot point. Who cares if they play in the regular season? But they don't. So that's not why the one matchup you got to have is in the regular season.
Do all Italians stick together?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Well,
like, my God, I'm Irish. Play the game.
I agree. I agree. The game.
I thought you were fighting for
the game has to happen. The game has to happen. I mean, listen, you're going to go on and on as you declared 2 weeks ago when you told me it's over. St. Joe's is the champ. And are you going to admit to that? You told me that 2 weeks ago. St. Joe's is the champ.
You're going to say that? What I told you in confidence?
Well, but I'm just telling you that
it's over, Jim.
When you look at St. Joe's' schedule, they're gonna play all these. Their season's gonna end. Okay, Bosco, Bergen, DePaul before they get to the playoffs. 3 of the last final 4 games. It's like that's gonna loom large this season.
Nobody's beating them. Okay. What do you think of this guy Trey Tagliaferri?
I like him.
I went up to watch practice a couple weeks ago. That sophomore can flat out throw the football.
Yeah.
He can really throw the football. You know, we mentioned about Bosco. They're going to play 2 quarterbacks. You know, Vito's going to play 2 again. Snee, the freshman, ran the ball. Tagliaferri threw it great the other day. Bergen Catholic, 45-3 the last 4 years. 2 out of state, 1 to Bosco, 4 consecutive titles. It looked like they were going to be 45-4 at 21-14 with under 2 minutes left. Vin, hit those highlights. All right, here we go. Big play of the game here. Minute 40 left. Now, this receiver is a Power 5 recruit. And Jordan Thomas says, so am I. Ohio State, he took this game over because on the next play, he shoots the gap, he blocks the punt, scoop and score for the Crusaders. Amari Newell picks it up, and that makes it 21-20. There ain't a chance in hell that Vito Campanelli is going for the tie. So what does he do? He puts the ball in Tag's hand. Watch the under route by Brian Porter, Quincy's little brother. Look at this thing. Right there. Runs him in motion, throws it, gets it into the end zone. They win it 22-21.
Wow.
And that was down there in the Battle of the Beach in Ocean City.
I mean, listen, you know, you got to think when they're up 14-0, down 21-14. You know, East St. Louis lines up to punt there, and you know, one thing, if you look at that formation, I was talking to my the great Jimmy Avatable and football coach Sean Gary today, looking at the video, and East St. Louis lined up.
Was Sean Gary?
No, Sean Gary.
Okay. I thought the Packers cut him.
But when you watch East St. Louis line up for that punt, now you're up 21-14 if you're in St. Louis, right? You're up, right? So you know now there's a minute and a half left in the game. You got to punt the ball and defend the end zone, okay? They probably like their chances, okay? Bergen Catholic scored 2 touchdowns in the game, but now they got maybe a minute and 20 seconds. They line up in their spread formation in the punt, okay? And nobody picks up Ohio State bound Jordan Thomas. Gets a free release, and after the release, there's only one guy back there. I mean, like Coach Sean Garrett said, hey, man, if you're going to line up and spread in that punt formation, you got to have, like, the trio back there, the 3 guys, a little blockade that he's got to get through. And give Bergen Catholic credit because, like great teams capitalize with special teams in big moments and rushing 4 guys. They rushed 4 guys and blocked the punt there. And listen,
Shouldn't you be taking care of the buses and not breaking down tape with your coaches?
We're taking
Are there
care.
bus issues
We're
already at
taking
Paramus
care of
Catholic?
everything. We're going to break down Paramus Catholic football soon too. But really terrific. And this is the calling card of these steamroller situations. Bergen Catholic, the 4-time defending champ. You mentioned the last loss in 2022. It's like kind of staring into the abyss here in the opening game. Lost the opener last year to IMG. No, to Chaminade.
No, that was 2 years ago. They lost the 3rd game of the year to Chaminade.
IMG was last year.
Yeah.
And
Smith is still
like,
running around.
listen, finding a way. I mean, the continuation of Bergen Catholic winning their 4th title was, they're up 14. They're down 14-0 to St. Joe's in the middle of the 3rd quarter at home and took over the final 16 minutes of that game. And the continuation is this game here today. And it's different players. It's not Dom Campanelli now. It's Tags and those guys. And
So that's where you're going with Tags.
Oh, you got it. If your name is Tagliari and you're playing well, you're Tags.
Who's going to be the player of the year in New Jersey, Jim?
I don't know.
Who's the best sophomore you ever seen in North Jersey?
Jabril Peppers.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay? I don't know if guys like Coop and NJO Sports, whatever, I don't know. And there are guys that I love. I am the biggest Nate Bailey fan in the world. I watched him practice the other day. He is so good.
So good. And he's got higher SATs than you, too.
He is so good.
He's going to Harvard.
Let me just tell you this. I'm watching Bergen practice 2 Fridays ago. And they don't have their numbers on or whatever. And I'm watching this kid run gassers side to side. And then before that, I watched his first step. And he has no numbers. And then they tell me it's Jackson Vaughn. Jackson Vaughn is going to be the player of the year in the state of New Jersey as a sophomore. Okay? So when we were getting ready to do the Paramus Catholic St. Peter's game, I go back kind of in the micro, the what do you call that ball, the thing? Like the prognosticators. What's the ball right there?
Yeah.
Say something.
The globe. I don't know.
The thing.
Yeah.
What's that
crystal
thing?
ball.
Crystal ball. There you go.
Jeez.
So I'm looking around, right? So last year, St. Peter's Prep had 7.5 sacks. Paramus Catholic, 9 sacks. This cat in his last 2 games, 4 in the state final, 3 in the first game.
Goodness.
Guy's got 7 sacks, Jim. Now, the thing that's so impressive, if he didn't play football, I think he could be on the United States track team. His effort when he runs, and there are guys going all out. There is no one within 10 yards of him. That guy right there, I'm telling you right now, is going to be the biggest recruit in the history. Cushing, everybody. The big kid that left and went down to Georgia, everybody. Quincy Porter, everybody. He will be the most heavily recruited kid in the history of Bergen Catholic, Jackson Vaughn. How about that?
St. Joe's has one of those guys fits in that category, too.
Is this what it's going to be like all year?
No.
We're just going to push everything to St. Joe's?
No, I'm saying that they have a guy that could fit into the category of the most heavily recruited guy in the history of the school.
Could we talk about DePaul before we talk about St. Joe's?
Yes. Well, back to Nicky.
I had a Vin told me.
10 years,
Vin,
nothing. By the way, 10 years,
you.
nothing has changed.
Put the camera on you, Vin. Put the camera on you, Vin. All right. No, you don't have to get. Oh, you moved it? All right. Vin told me that you were going to be a problem because look, what was the lower third for Cavallo, Vin? He wanted you to put Hall of Famer.
That's not true.
St. Joe's Hall of Famer.
That's not true.
And I said, Vin, I've worked with this guy for a long time. I think he's going to be okay.
Why am I in the St. Joe's Hall of Fame?
Tell the story about...
Why am I in the St. Joe's Hall of Fame? Because when they brought up the idea, you said MSG Network will buy 5 tables.
That's your point.
Okay. And they were like, the tables cost 5 tables. He's in. That, and I used to say nice things on TV about Tony Carthage.
Right.
That helped too.
But you got to tell the story about when Tony called you about the Hall of Fame. You got great stories. Do you remember this?
He called me. He called me one time and said, "Hey, I just want to call you. I've been trying to get to you. I just want to, we have the Hall of Fame banquet coming up, and I just want to and I go, oh my God, Coach, this is incredible. Are you kidding me? I'm going the St. Joe's Hall of Fame. Oh my gosh, what an honor. He goes, Jimmy, stop. I want you to MC the banquet. Hey, take it easy.
Who's going in, Flaherty?
Take it easy.
John
Yeah.
Flaherty, right?
I think, yeah, Flaherty, another Rockland County great guy that went to St. Joe's. And I think he felt bad a few years later, and then you came up with the idea that you'd buy 5 tables, and we got 50 people there, and the rest is history.
All right, so again, we said it before. This conference, the Super Football Conference, had 4 state champs from a year ago. One of them was DePaul. They shouldn't be in the B division. They should be up in the A. But hey, you got to play where you got to play. Listen,
it's based on enrollment. There's nothing you could do. Once upon a time, Paramus Catholic was in the A. Now they're in the B.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you're the head football coach, okay, at Pope John, and you played DePaul.
Dom Gaston.
Yeah. I met with him the other day, getting ready for our game the other night.
Tough old Crusader, man.
2006, played for Freddie Stengel.
Yeah. His track coach one told me he's the only guy that talked trash mid-race. I go, how's that even possible?
Dom Santoli didn't do that?
No, he goes, I don't think Dom ran track.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Gaston was running like a 200-meter, and as the race was close with the kid next to him, he turned and he started barking at the kid, and the officials told him afterwards, you cannot do that. It's not like there's no flags on this, but it's just against the spirit of the competition.
I tell you, as a head coach, you have 0 turnovers.
Right.
The other team has 4.
Perfect.
Who wins the game?
The team that gets the 4 turnovers.
Not even close. Here we go, Vin. DePaul, Pope John, Saturday up in the hills of Sparta, New Jersey. First series, Dominic Zammit to Mason James, 7-0. What'd I say,
Dominic, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're in Italian mode.
I know.
Zammit was terrific.
How about A.J. Larkin on the reverse to James? James was everywhere in the first half of this game. Good atmosphere up there at Pope John. And then Zammit to guess who? James. 14 yards, 17-0.
I mean, Zammit, the Washington commit. What is he, like a 3.5-year starter, right? Once upon a time, he comes in the game when Patty Grusser got hurt. He's thrown for, 6,000 yards, Mike. 6'1", 200. He could run an offense. Got great poise. He almost looks like he's the professional version of a high school quarterback. He's so calm and poised.
That was Sean Nevers with 30 seconds left in the half, and Logan Nagel in the defense. They were everywhere. Maybe the best defensive game they ever played because, again, they had to overcome 4 turnovers. And I will say this, and I talked to Derek at the Super Football Conference thing at MetLife, which was spectacular. Like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Did the Jets do an incredible job with that. And I talked to him, and I said, I got to be honest, buddy. First of all, when you meet him, big, strong kid, handles himself, looks like a college quarterback already. And I said, look, I'd be honest. I was not a believer of you when you were a sophomore. And then when I watched him that first game last year up at Columbia against Cardinal Hayes, I was blown away. Yeah. Throwing wide side outs, throwing comebacks, running the football. I mean,
accuracy.
But I'll be honest. I didn't think he played well the other day. There were at times when they're throwing bubble screens and wide side outs.
Maybe you didn't think he played great.
No, 2 interceptions. He fumbled the ball.
Okay.
All right. So listen. We're going to tell the truth here on this show, right? Yeah. Everybody, because you're a recruit, I guarantee you, if we had him out here right now, he'd say, "No, I didn't play well."
Yeah, it was. Listen, it was a rematch of the state final. But you got to remember one thing about Zammit. I mean, he had I believe an Alabama offer, a Duke offer, Boston College. And it's just, they continue, Nick Campanelli, since he took over there for Johnny Boy, 2021, they just have this way, with these receivers, you know what I mean? Like DePaul is through the years, it's all, the Shaquem Phillips and the Des Jones, Elijah Burris, they just keep rolling them out. I mean, these guys are right out of Central Casting, and when you look at those highlights, Mike, I mean, these guys just look like receivers. You know what I mean?
They look.
It's just so fun to watch, and you could just see senior oozing out of Derek Zammit as he stands in the pocket.
I just love the way he warms up, the way he carries himself.
Yeah, like I said. But
who's going to have a great year? Lamar Best, St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Do you know that in that final game against
he's got to stay healthy.
Well, that's the thing. Had the collarbone, missed a bunch of games.
Came back for the semifinals.
And did you know I was with Augie a couple weeks ago watching them practice? He told me that in that game it happened again.
Oof.
I had no idea. Let me tell you something. Watching him throw the football in practice, man, does he rip it.
Well, I mean, listen, if he's going to throw it well, the Delaware commit, then it's going to be a big problem for the defenses because we know how magical he is with his feet. So it's just, and Augie's gone on record saying this is I think he's in his 8th year coaching, there, gone, back. He said this is the fastest team he's ever had.
Oh, there's no doubt.
You know,
I'm sitting up there watching practice. I'm the only guy. Garrett came over. He was going to throw me out. He thought I was some lunatic parent.
Yeah.
Sit tight, buddy.
Hey,
I'm good.
They're
He goes,
going
"Oh
to
my
have
God."
to finish.
And
Finish is the theme.
Their
Finish.
team speed. I'm not saying it's Chaminade, Florida, who took out
Right.
Bergen Catholic 2 years ago. Their team speed is sick. Nate Bailey will be
Forget
right
about
there
it.
for Player of the Year in the conference. No question about it. Now, they were supposed to open up the season against, who were they supposed to open up against? What's that team again? Riverdale Baptist, right?
Yes.
So Riverdale Baptist the week before plays McDonough. They lose 42-6. They say they got 6 kids hurt, so they can't come up there. That's garbage. Here's why they didn't come up. Vin, give it to me. These are the inside linebackers from St. Joe's, all right? That's why they didn't come up. Look at this guy, and that's the guy you talked about. Taj Gray will be the most heavily recruited player in the history of St. Joe's is Cooper Rigo. Number 2, big number 78, Augie Hoffman. He will blow by both of them. And when I showed this to Marty Lyons...
Keep that photo up for a
keep
second.
that up. When I showed this photo to Marty Lyons, the former Jet...
Number 93 in the
Atlanta,
Jets program?
He's like, there's no way that's a sophomore.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, no.
He's already got 25 offers. It hasn't played a game, obviously, in his sophomore year. St. Joe's, we've always had a great legacy of guys with great abs. It's obvious. Ravella is, 127 tackles last year. He's a Fordham commit.
Yep.
They have a McLean.
He looks like John Rambo.
Everybody has a McLean, all right? I did the game Saturday, Seton Prep. They have Cam McLean. You have KJ McLean, Tennessee commit on St. Joe's. Jalen McLean is now a 2-year starter on the national champs, The Ohio State University. Brady Shust, you got a 6'6", 250-pound tight end committed to Wake Forest. But St. Joe's needs to finish, and that's the theme of the year. I'll tell you why that team put them on the schedule. Because you kept saying, why would they agree to play them? If you're going to be that flimsy and you're going to pull out that fast, why would you agree to play them? I'll tell you why they agreed to play them. Because St. Joe's went 6-5 last year. And what happens whenever a team from New Jersey is playing somebody out of state? What's the first thing you do? You go to Max Preps and see what their record was last year. Oh my God, 12-1, won the Class 9A section champ. You're like, this is going to be a good. I'm sure they looked at St. Joe's. They saw 6-5. They go, yeah, let's go up to play. Then they saw the calendar photo that you just put up, and they went, whoa, wait a minute now.
We ain't coming. We got no gas in this bus.
Mr. October and Mr. November are waiting for us up there.
Oh, boy. So they haven't played yet. But, Vin, they did get a win. How'd the SFC, Vin, do out of state? I was going to put you on camera there, but you
pretty good.
Give me a little music there, Mikey.
Oh, we're giving St. Joe's a win. I like it.
Give me a little music. Let's get into it. Okay, we told you about Bergen.
Now, did Vivino have to rule on that? Does he have some sort of courtroom where he has to rule on it that they're going to get a win? Does he have to, in order to get the forfeit win? Was that a ruling?
Did you have to get a ruling on that's a forfeit win, Dan? Oh, here he comes.
Oh, here he goes.
He's in the control room with Dennis Nelson. Congratulations to Den, finally retired after 70 years.
Retired. You got him working, and you got him working harder than ever.
How in the world? Yeah, no, I yelled at him the other day. I yelled at everybody the other day.
Welcome to my world.
How did St. Joe's get a forfeit win, Dan?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
we'll get him on later in the year. I like the fight.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, switch it.
And now the whole season you'll be like, St. Joe's moves to 5-0, but of course their first win was a forfeit.
Immaculata, 45-30 over Kellenberg. They led 21-0 and rolled from there. Dacier Spilly, 23 carries, 199 yards, and 6 touchdowns along of 77. The defense, 5 interceptions. Okay? Mawa, we said, they go out there. That's some trip home, right?
I mean, listen, how do you ever leave Nashville, right? I mean, my goodness, talk about having something to do after the game. I'm sure Coop, he could give you an itinerary for what to do down there. Wayne Hillsback, I like this. Last year they won in Nevada. This year now, beat Wheat Ridge, Colorado. 5,400 feet above sea level. That's higher than Coors Field. Did they go out there 4 days in advance to get used to the oxygen?
Where do you find this?
David Van Hook treated Colorado like Captain Hook. I'm just getting started.
Oh, my God.
He took everything in sight, 4 touchdowns. That game was running clock in Colorado. Great job by the Patriots of Wayne Hills.
And Van Hook, man, I'll tell you, he loves his quarterbacks. They went with 2 quarterbacks. James Wolfe, 4-5, 154 yards, 3 touchdowns. Mikey Fitzsimmons, 4-5, 92 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Del Barton on the backside. Vin, make the change. This is when it gets away from the Super Football Conference. But give Del Barton and Brian Bowers credit. They are a young football team. Yeah. They take on the legendary St. Edward's program out of Ohio. They used 2 quarterbacks, a freshman and a sophomore. Both played well, ran the ball. They just didn't have enough to start the season.
Yeah, a lot of turnover for Brian Bowers. But Brian Bowers, listen, I was kidding around with the Green Wave guys at MetLife. Do you know where Brian Bowers went to high school? They had really no idea. He's a Long Island guy. We know Brian Bowers from back in his day playing for Wayne Charant at West Islip High School. Such a good football guy. They were so good last year. The epic victory over DePaul, of course, Mike. How could anybody ever forget what they did? But, listen, they'll get better as the weeks go on here. Young squad.
And Danny Moran, they fell 27-0, and Eastside fell to Chicago Hope in Illinois. Vin, back on camera for a second. I do want to mention something because I saw, and as you mentioned, we love Brian Bowers. He's a wonderful football coach, but he's a better person. And when I saw him over there at MetLife that day, he didn't want to talk about his team. He didn't want to talk about his opponents. He wanted to talk about Jerry Gallagher, the longtime football coach in the state of New Jersey, a class act who passed away over the summer, and he wanted to. And guys, I hope maybe moving forward, Den, if we could follow up on that every week when we name the Coach of the Week. I know at the end of the year it's the Drew Gibbs Coach of the Year. Yeah. We should do the Coach of the Week should be named after Jerry Gallagher. So let's stay on that. And I just want, because that's Bowers, man. Yeah. And he goes, we're going to take our lumps, but he wanted to talk about his good friend and a great coach, Jerry Gallagher. So rest in coach.
Beautiful stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so we mentioned it before. Ever since you took over as the athletic director of Paramus Catholic, defense is optional. I mean, so last year...
I'm the athletic director. I'm not the defensive coordinator. And this is...
But maybe it's the food you give them.
The palate... Listen, Manjas of Waldwick, I'm telling you out there, if you want to eat right, your team, you call Manjas of Waldwick.
Really?
Forget about it.
Maybe you get him a sponsor.
Freddie does an unbomb job. But listen,
maybe get him as a sponsor.
You got to remember, Greg Russo inherited a program that had lost 18 games in a row. Coming back in 2022, they are on schedule, Mike. They are playing a much more competitive brand of football. You saw St. Peter's jump on them, score 21 points in the blink of an eye. Yep. We scored first on the road. Yep. Achilles DuPont, good to see him back in action. It was just 2 years ago where he went for 200 all-purpose yards on the road at Cleveland Heights with the jerseys of the Kelsey brothers hanging in the hallways. And then they settled into the game. I mean, listen, whatever you want to say, the final score, whatever, when push comes to shove, we're inside the 5-yard line with 7 minutes left, down 28-26. Didn't finish. We mentioned
show it.
Finish. I got you. They didn't finish.
So 48-47 last year, and this thing.
And they won that game last year.
I said that. They lost the year before.
They did, by a point.
And you still have a problem with
28-27. Yeah, well, I mean,
how's that guy in the state doing? Who's the guy you talk to all the time?
First of all, the guy in the state, if you're referring to Paul Papaduke.
Yeah, you guys are like on a first-name basis now.
No,
huh?
Well, no, every athletic director is on a first-name basis. Paul Papaduke, he's a great guy, runs the show.
St. John Vianney's loss was St. Peter's gain. Abdou Toure, who led the state in rushing and scoring last year, 25, 17, and 37 touchdowns. He leaves down the shore, comes up to Jersey City. And this game, 40 points in the first quarter. We thought we were going back to it right again. And he settled in, 170 yards rushing in the game, had a touchdown, and also had the most electrifying roll it, Vin, play of the game. You're watching the podcast on the Super Football Network.
Way back in the backfield, now trying to make forward progress. Somehow splitting free is Toure. He's got it. Past the 40. Still on his feet. Breaks a tackle. Towards the 30. Has an angle. To the 20. To the 10. One man to beat. Inside the 10. A broken play. Turns into a great one. And St. Peter's Prep icing on the cake. Abdou Toure in his first game in Jersey City making a wonderful play.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape. with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at KearneyBank.com.
Sport performance is a team effort. As former athletes and now psychotherapists, we want to help athletes train their minds with the same commitment that they train their bodies.
Through team workshops or one-on-one sessions, we will help athletes and teams develop skills like confidence, focus, and visualization.
We will help them learn to bounce back from mistakes,
manage nerves, and think clearly under pressure.
At the Lucan Center Sports Performance Program, we help support athletes and their support systems work at their best.
Book an appointment today to see how you can train your mind and elevate your game.
When the game is on the line, you need a team that knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
We are off and running on this week in the Super Football Conference, tied at 0 at the half. Jimmy Cavallo, you worked this Seton Hall Prep St. John Vianney game. This guy got it going.
St. John Vianney took a lead, but enter Bryce Robbins, the captain. Look at him go. Track star on the team. Seton Hall Prep would take a 7-6 lead, but I liked what I saw out of Zach Labarca, senior quarterback and the captain for St. John Vianney. He would come right back, give them the lead, but in the end, Seton Hall Prep made one more play. Their sophomore quarterback, Ty Newcomb, did a great job and hit Aiden Lockett. Fun little game. Scoreless at the half.
We'll get to it.
Got going. Yeah, no problem.
I was happy for Coach Fitzgerald. Billy, when I was standing with him before your scrimmage against Seton Hall Prep, he's like, we have to win game one. Game one is so important. So now, you know me. I love getting up and watch it, like looking at scores, like, oh my God. Then hit me. This is like, what? Wow. Like this. Little music, guys. Here we go. This is the
First of all, how do you even fit your head in that? Oh, that's got to be an uppercase on too. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. So
This was Sally Finney Raphael glasses too.
I put them on in the house. I sent it to Vin. Vin, did you have fun making those clips? When I first said put Coop's face and fly the Coop, put yourself on camera, Vin. Come on, get into it.
Come on. Get in.
Vin on camera. Vin, you thought I was nuts when I said put Coop's face and the O's on Coop, right?
I love it.
You called me and you were laughing.
I love it.
It's unbelievable. All right, Vin, get yourself on camera. All right, here we go. Northern Highlands, they go down there. Holy Spirit lost in the non-beat championship last year. Battle of the Beach. We're going to get into more about Dave Ford's guys. Chase Calarco, 16, 127.
Cornell commit, too. And that was the first game of the high school football season in New Jersey, right? That was like the true kickoff classic.
Stayed overnight. Jacko Callahan, 12-16, 205, and a couple of touchdowns.
Have you ever been to the boardwalk in Ocean City? It's nice. It's one of the sleeper boardwalks. People commonly associate a boardwalk on the Jersey Shore with Seaside Heights, which of course is the most famous boardwalk, but Ocean City's got a nice little boardwalk.
Van, enough. Give me T-neck. So when we met Coach James...
I mean, apparently they didn't eat too much kettle corn the night before. You got to be careful with kettle corn on these boardwalks. I'm just telling you.
So all the guys we met at the Super Football Conference, Coach James was the best in T-neck. He's like, oh my God, I used to watch you two all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I was rooting. I was like, come on, T-neck, do something good this weekend so we can talk about it. They beat Randolph because of Randolph.
Yeah,
Kevin Randolph. 7 carries, 194 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So last year, the most points they scored in a game the entire season, 36. Coach James has got him off and going.
Yeah, Lugo, too, the quarterback, 3 touchdown passes in the game. So that was good. That's kind of some positive synergy that he was positive with us, and now they won that first game.
I love it. Give it to me, then. Pascack Valley. We talked about that one already. We're going to talk more about that game coming up a little later in the show. That's an impressive victory for a Group 3 over Group 5. One of the ththings Coop wants to talk about when he comes on in the next segment, what is up with the Group 5 teams?
Yeah, Coach,
tough start.
Coach Rob coming over from Saddlebrook, and that's a great way to start your career at a football school like Pascack Valley.
This next one surprised me not only for the Super Football Conference, but the Shore Conference. St. Thomas Aquinas at the end of last football season, they got rid of their coaching staff. They were in disarray. They bring in Johnny Germano, the former Great Bergen Catholic quarterback, went off to college, took the job.
I think he went to Johns Hopkins, right?
I think he did, yeah, it was
or
great.
Georgetown?
One of those. Had a cup of coffee down there as the head coach came back to Bergen. So now they had to hire another staff, and look at what they did. 56-3 against Montclair. Ron Anello is there at Montclair this year. That is a really tough start for Coach, and it's a very tough start for the Super Football Conference.
Ron Anello inherited a very difficult situation. They graduated 27 seniors. 27. That's a big number to lose off your high school football team. So what are they? They're extremely young. They're extremely unexperienced. They're like you said, like a fighter moving up in class.
All right, man, last one. We talked about it off the top. Shabazz, that upset victory against number 17, West Orange. Now, Coach has brought a lot of guys left parochial schools to come to Shabazz, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, he didn't go to Ghana. Push that highlight, Vin. He didn't go to Ghana to get this kicker.
Really?
Rami.
I wouldn't. Don't sell Nasir Gaines short.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
He's got a strong reach, man.
And here it is, the first time. He had lined up for a field goal earlier in the game, but it was a bad snap, so he never got to swing that right foot. Here he swings it. Hated football. Hated American football until 2 years ago. Was playing soccer, got bored with soccer, and says, hey, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I mean, that is pretty cool, and that's a very good win for Shabazz.
I just want to officially announce that his soccer career is over. Okay, and and I don't know if they had that stream in West Africa, in the town of Ghana, city of Ghana, but that's an exciting. And listen, again, Shabazz, they continue to exceed expectations. You know what I mean? In these games that they win, beating. We mentioned Westwood and Burners last year, Hanover Park in the playoffs. They would lose a really tough game to Rumson. Rumson's first title. But, now that you got big body Nas there, I mean, Nasir Gaines, it's like, just talking to my guys today, just about with a little Shabazz scouting report, they're going to bring a bold attitude. They're going to take everybody on. They're going to play St. Peter's. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is the evolution of Shabazz that you're seeing.
Vin, give me those Seton Hall Prep highlights. All right, Jim, you called this game. We talked about it. Coming in off the break, scoreless at the half. Big kick return. Pick it up.
Yeah, here's the touchdown pass to Aiden Lockett, the senior from Ty Newcomb. Seton Hall now has a lead in the game. Lockett, good-looking player. But St. John Vianney, they were impressive. They would get to within 8 points. And here they are. Watch the big body for Lake Thomas. This is 230 pounds of running back into the end zone. He comes to your front door. Don't answer, baby. Look at that guy. They go for two, but watch number 15, Josh Griffith, Mike. Big wingspan on Josh. Knocks down the two-point conversion that would have tied the game. And Seton Hall Prep, you mentioned, much-needed win. A lot of young guys in different positions for both those teams. I enjoyed talking to Greg Penta, the first-year head coach for St. John Vianney. He was really honest and refreshing in talking about losing Abdul Toure. He said, look, Toure came to me and said, Coach, I just got to step up my competition. I want to play college football. Me going to St. Peter's Prep is going to give me a week in and week out. He said, Jimmy, I couldn't deny the kid. I'm not bitter against him. I wish him all the luck in the world. And, Seton Hall Prep, Coach Fitz, trying to rebound off the the one thing about Seton Hall Prep is they're going to be sneaky good at times. Under Billy Fitzgerald, we talk a lot about St. Joe's. Danny Morangi's last game at St. Joe's was the playoff game 2 years ago. The Seton Hall Prep went into St. Joe's and beat them. They had beaten them and ended their season the year before. So Seton Hall Prep, you never count them out, and they do definitely have some good personnel. When you look at Cam McLean. Okay, he's a McLean, first of all. I mentioned his brother Jalen on Ohio State, his other brother on St. Joe's. Cam McLean is a 6'3", 230-pound sophomore who, when you see him in warm-ups, right away you're like, that's passing the eye test. And then you see him move around and you realize he's going to be a major
How's
recruit.
Chuuga feeling for you guys? Is he feeling better?
Much better, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was not a pull or a strain. He
Okay.
got stepped on. He's good.
Watching that game the other night, and I said this multiple times during the webcast, if I'm a team in the Super Football Conference, I do not kick to number 8 on your team. This kid, Martin,
Yeah.
he is electrifying. Right, he's only a junior.
Yeah, Nakai.
He makes the game look so easy.
Yeah.
He only has Temple and Southern Miss.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
that's going to change.
It's going to change, and one thing that Greg Russo does, he does a great job of getting kids to college football. So Nakai Martin will fit right into that mold, especially when you're making electrifying plays against a team with a lot of team speed like St. Peter's Prep.
Vin, give me those St. Peter's Prep highlights. Okay, here we go. First play of the game. Achilles. It wasn't sore. 68. Off he goes, and it's like, wow. 48, 47.
Watch me, Mike. I'm standing against the goalpost. Watch this. Right at the end here, you're going to see me under the goalpost. See me there? Oh!
All your friends.
Best seat in the house.
And then right back you come, and Abdul Ture, around the corner.
Yeah, scooter.
Ran for 170 yards. Now, fast forward, late in the half. Look at the score now. This was a great catch by Hudson Pritchard from Tyler Bell.
Went down and got it.
Bell did not put up big numbers. He didn't have to. I thought Mason Green.
Marco
Green.
Beautiful. Threw the ball well.
Yep, there's Martin. 6 catches, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Here's when the momentum starts to shift for Paramus Catholic.
Officials ruled the tight end stepped out of bounds. It brought it back to a 4th and 1. Give St. Peter's Prep defense some credit. They stacked it. They jacked it. The measurement came out. St. Peter's Prep got the ball. We would get the ball later on in the game. Bad snap on the punt. Really just set St. Peter's Prep up for victory in this game. And good teams capitalize on your mistakes, and they did.
And they did. One play later, Tyler Barksdale, the senior captain, who I said multiple times during the broadcast, I think it's a wonderful job by him. He was their leading rusher a year ago for Coach Hansen Jr. He didn't, get upset when they brought Ture in. He goes, no problem. And I thought we named him player of the game. I thought Barksdale was sensational. Ture is going to knock you out to the head. Barksdale's going to beat you up in the body. St. Peter's Prep, I'm telling you right now, is going to have something to say this year offensively, and their defense is better.
You have them, I think, 4th in the Mike Quick pecking order.
I
But,
do.
you can't listen. This is not like back in the day where you're upset when a running back transfers in. I mean, you have to have depth on these teams. You know how long the season is. Health is so important in this league. It's really hard to stay healthy in this league. I mean, you look at what happened to Paramus Catholic. Xavier Williams, of course, now at Rutgers, tears his ACL. His season was over. We scored 6 touchdowns last year, Paramus Catholic, against Pope John on the road early in the season, and then lost 14-6 in the playoffs. Xavier Williams wasn't out there. Crew Cologne, our quarterback, wasn't out there. So health is important. You like to hear guys with that refreshing take. I'm glad to have them. But you also know in this league, there's a lot of carries to go around because there's a lot of physicality.
Then new coaches, here we go, around the Super Football Conference. Give me a little music here, guys. Lies Ruben Blank. They were down 12-0 against Westside. Back they come, they win it. Cecile Fair, 18 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Nick Liberato, his dad was the longtime coach at Hanover Park. They beat Hudson Catholic 35-8. Dante Rosato, 14 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Rod Bernier, Pascack Valley. More on them later. He was the head coach last year at Saddlebrook. Nasir Gaines, we talked about Shabazz's upset victory, right? The Ghana Gift puts them 1-0. I hope I have this pronunciation right. Is it Joe Mako? Joe Mako, Warren Hills, 38-7 over Vernon. Quarterback Cole Stevens, 12 of 17, 241.
You got to change it. It's got to be Macho.
It's got to be Macho.
Macho Man. I want to be a Joe Macho Man.
Benequista, Wayne Valley, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah,
at West Point is just a wonderful game against Cedar Grove.
Stadium.
Greg Brusdes, Whippany Park, 35-0 over Parsippany. Darian Jackson ran 10 times for 105 yards and 2 scores. Had 2 catches for 90 yards. Guess how many touchdowns he had in those 2 catches?
I don't know.
Two. And then I just want to add one. Woodridge coach Andrew Carbone, 38-0 against Lodi. Quarterback Chris Rios, 15 of 17, 224, and 3 touchdowns. Now, unfortunately, Bergenfield had to get a new coach this year. And it was truly one of the most awful stories ever. A legendary football family, the Violantes, Rob, the football coach at Bergenfield the last 14 years, driving home from school, a school that he loved for 16 years, was killed along with 4 other people in a horrific car accident. His 61 wins, the most all-time for any coach at Bergenfield High School. They started the year losing 14-6 to West Milford the other day. Now, that game was very difficult. Vin, you come back on camera. That game had to be very, very difficult. But now they're coming home this week. He was a legendary athlete at Somers High School in Lincolndale, New York. 3-sport star. The kids just loved him. From everything you read, everybody you talked to, everybody loved him. For those kids this entire year, football is going to be difficult to play, but they're going to play because Coach V would have wanted them to.
Yeah, I mean, it puts a hole in 2 sports communities that you just can't fill.
No.
And it's, we see these wonderful stories all the time where a guy is a legendary hometown hero player in Somers. And, for Jersey people, Somers High School is like Ramapo High School.
They beat Ramapo last year.
It's like Old Tappan High School.
And they beat them the year before, but there was that awful call at the end of the game.
Never got over that call.
Never.
But I'm just saying, it's this one of these communities where they do it right, where kids grow up playing competitive junior football, where it translates to the high school. And Rob was a legendary athlete. He stuck around and went to Iona, finished up his playing career at Delaware. And, it's just like I said. I mean, that family, his dad Skip, his brothers, they just have made such an impression on Westchester County sports and New Jersey for that matter.
And the Super Football Conference, Vin, will do their thing this weekend as well. If you could give me that promo, Vin, for the game this week, everybody between now and kickoff, if you subscribe to the Super Football Conference Network, all those subscription fees will go to the Rob Violante Memorial Scholarship Fund, and that is a terrific job by Doug Phillis, the president of this Super Football Conference Network, and it's the right thing to do. We hope they get a good crowd, but we hope more people watch it on the web, so they can make a lot of money for a wonderful, wonderful guy, just way too young. So it's always hard to transition off something like that, but the Violantes, they are football people. They love the sport. They will continue to love the sport, and they will always love their son and their brother, Rob. There's no question about it. Old Tappan, one of the 4 teams from the Super Football Conference last year to win the final game of the season, and it did not take them long to pick up where they left off in the first game of the season, taking on West Essex. Dave Resnick was on the call on the Super Football Conference Network. First play of the game, Zach Maselli hit it, Vin.
Johns Hopkins. Now the show is all his. Michelli drops back to pass over the top. A home run connection on the opening play as Leo Etter outruns the defense for the 80-yard touchdown.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. Learn more today at kearneybank.com.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
How are you? Oh, thank you, buddy. Good to see you. How you been, all right?
Mike Delco?
Hell yeah, dude. Ready, brother? Let's do it, man. Hey, it's going to be sprint right. Sprint right, 800. Ram, sprint right. John, did you just take a 4-foot split on blast to your side? Your split was like this. All right. It's a win. It's football, man, and they're hard to get, all right? Hard to get, and that team's physical, and like I said, can't get complacent. We got to take the corrections, and we'll get after it tomorrow, right?
OT, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, he's done it for 26 years, and I don't think people realize how good of a coach Old Tappan Brian Dunn is. He is a teacher. A lot of guys recruit guys. He coaches guys. But I'm going to ask you this question. Is he a better football coach or a girls basketball?
Well, I mean, he's got over 500 wins in girls basketball, and he's a history teacher that continues to make history. I mean, you look at how successful he is in girls basketball.
Line.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not paid for my looks. He has also won 2 Group 3 titles in the last 3 years, right, in football.
And we told you what Maselli did on his first pass of the season. Give it to me, Vin. Here we go. Maselli, Joe Crescitelli. You got to help me with these names, man. We were born for that.
Anything with a vowel at the end, I'll handle.
Maselli, 15 of 18, 272 and 2. 21-0, but not
good haul.
Yep. Devin Regoian. Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Just go with the D train.
Yeah, the D train. Then West Essex makes a little run, kind of late in the half. Quarterback Jack Long, 12 yards to Justin Carini.
Hide the ball nicely.
28-7, so maybe a ball game. Nope. DR doing it again. His second touchdown, 14 carries, 82 yards, a couple scores. As Old Tappan continues to roll, 34-14. Well, anybody in Bergen County knows nobody covers high school football better than this guy, so it's time
Thank you, Mike.
Fly the coop. Oh. And here he is. Give me that 3-shot. There he is.
Hold on. History, right? He just hit off his best line of the telecast.
Ever.
This is history. 15 years I've been waiting for this moment to sit with you guys. I had to do my
It's our first show.
I know, but you've had other shows. 15 years I have been waiting
to
come
across the bridge.
You wouldn't come across the bridge.
No, you wouldn't come across the bridge.
Gentlemen, it is a thrill.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Here with you guys.
It's great to have you.
I have many corrections, though, to make.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Because you live this every day. Yeah.
The scrimmage story is a fantastic story with Toll and the scrimmage. Because do you remember the great catch R.J. Trimble Edwards made in that scrimmage? He was the big story
for St. Joe's.
Exactly right.
Remember,
and he makes a great catch in that scrimmage. They win the scrimmage 21-0.
Oh,
you don't remember that?
Hold on.
Come on. They win the scrimmage 21-0.
He may have made a catch. There is no such thing about winning scrimmages. That's what I don't like what you do. You put
I already don't like what I do.
It was going so well.
There's no such thing as winning. You know how you win a scrimmage? You don't get hurt. That's it.
True.
You don't get hurt.
However, some teams play scrimmages totally legit.
Okay.
I've been to scrimmages that like, this is like a game. They just didn't call it a game.
Well, I'm going to tell you a great scrimmage story.
I knew Cooper was going to commit fire.
No, it's good. I love
LSU won in Happy Valley. Death Valley, I should say.
Did. Here's a great scrimmage story. So St. Joe's Montvale is scrimmaging St. Joe's Prep somewhere down in Pennsylvania. I go down and watch it. So if you want to say the final score was 3-1, I don't count, right? Karsich is the head coach there. He's beside himself walking off the field at the end of the game. And it's just he and I walking out. I'm like, what is wrong? He goes, we were terrible. I'm like, Tony, you out-toughed them for the entire scrimmage. You tackled harder, you hit harder, you executed. We gave up 3 touchdowns. Now, they hit on 3 middle screens in that game. I said, Coach, how much did you prepare for their middle screen? He goes, we didn't. Then what are you worried about? He goes, hey, that makes me feel a little better. He calls me that night. He goes, I watched the tape. We were a lot more physical. Yeah, Tony, you're a certifiable lunatic. Okay? You're a certifiable lunatic.
An icon, though.
This football.
An icon.
And he's back.
Okay,
and he's back.
Give me this football. This is Cook told us this story. And by the way, this Clifton High School studio is spectacular. This school is spectacular. Vin, Mark, and Mike, spectacular. You were telling us the story in the hallway. Give us this football story because it's
all right.
good.
So about 9 years ago, NorthJersey.com, we started doing a 100-yard walk. We stole the premise from some other people. We walked with a local high school football player. we never get footballs, right? I mean, we're media. We're standing on the end zone. Nobody ever gets a football. I've gotten 2 footballs in my career at the record. The first one is, I don't do the Toll voice as well as you, Mike, but I'm there for the 250th. He's going to be his 250th win. Bosco's playing Passaic Tech, and they win the game easily. I'm with my I think he's a 5-year-old son. I took him to the football game. We're walking down the hill with Toll. My 5-year-old son, they had the big thing. They give Toll a game ball, 250. All right, great. My son doesn't know what's going on. He looks at Greg Toll and says, "Can I have the football?" What do you think Greg Toll said?
Hey, kid, take it.
Absolutely, give them the football. So that it's either this ball or it's another one, because I had a second one. A couple of years later, I'm at Riverside County Park. It's the last, didn't know it at the time, but it's the last season of Queen of Peace football. My son's running around. They were playing North Arlington. My son's running around. He grabs the football off the Queen of Peace sideline. Next thing I know, the game's over. We have a football. It's got QP on it, whatever it is. So I tell the kids every week before we do it, you're either holding Greg Toll's 250th win ball or the last football of Queen of Peace in Bergen County history. So don't know which one it is. I had 2, and all the markings have been rubbed off. The other one is back at the house. So I don't know if this is 250 or Queen of Peace, but that's the story of the football.
They probably treat their legendary milestone footballs the way they do the trophies.
Yeah, I was going to say,
they just throw them in a closet.
That story is so Greg Toll, it's not even, it's ridiculous.
Yes, you can both see it, walking down the hill.
We used to give them the number 1 team on MSG trophy, and you'd walk in and be like, "Where is it?" None of you would be able, they'd be like, "It's back here somewhere." You know what I mean? It's around underneath. I mean, like,
all right, and
it's like a door. It's like a door stop.
Why DePaul doesn't play? There's one person in this world who does not want that game played.
2, Mike and his wife.
Exactly right. Mostly the wife. More is really
I heard it was Mike.
Mike, and you blamed it on Chris Hurley, for the Hurley.
They have to play. They just for
it's getting to a point where
for
they
Bergen Catholic playing East St.
It makes
Louis
it difficult for
me.
guys like you that do a poll, though, because if they both seemingly run the table and win titles, it's like, how do you decide?
I do think eventually the state is going to take a hard look at a select category where you can opt into the highest possible level. Because it isn't even fair. I give the state a lot of credit in some things, not so much in others. But St. Mary's deserves something to play for. Pope John deserves something to play for. St. John Vianney deserves something for. So you need a class under the superpower class, but DePaul's in that fringe area, and it's kind of strange. So I do think we will eventually see it.
You should.
That we'll either shift to one group, there's one non-public group, or they'll make like a super class.
We always felt like you should always have the right to move up.
Yeah.
If you want to move up and throw caution into the wind, you should be able to move up.
Like Shabazz is going to be moved up?
I'm saying, if you want to move up, you should always be able to move up. Because it used to, listen, as a St. Joe's guy, as a graduate, it used to
St. Joe's?
It used to bother,
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it used to, listen, be fair, Mike. I mean, like, we would always love those the great St. Joe's Don Bosco games and the St. Joe's Bergen games and Paramus Catholic. But then you get to that point where they were in non-public 3, parochial 3, and it just felt like the other games were bigger games.
Well, it's the kids' table at Thanksgiving. That's what it is.
Yeah. So you should always be able to, elect to play up.
Other states let you play up.
Yeah.
You have the
Coop,
decision.
in all your travels in New Jersey,
yes,
the nicest stadium.
It was Friday night in Melissa, Texas.
In New Jersey.
What's the nicest stadium? Del Barton.
That's what I was going to say.
Del Barton. St. Augustine Prep.
Okay.
St. Augustine Prep is rivals. It's not Del Barton, but it's close. It rivals Del Barton.
Give me a couple Coop pictures. He sent these. This is Melissa, Texas. That's a high school stadium.
$35 million.
$35 million to build?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Allen, Texas?
Yeah, it was right next door. 17,000 seats. It was within driving. I didn't. I drove by.
Yeah.
So I think back.
Try building that in Bergen County, it'd be $135.
The joke on the sidelines, honestly, Jimmy, was, Bergen County and North Jersey would love to do that kind of thing. The comment was, the land would be $1 billion.
Yeah, no, it would be.
It would be $1 billion.
I still think you could find a spot somewhere, but
the place would be County Park and overpass.
It is. It was interesting.
It was on that path there for a while, but that's the one spot I think you could do it.
Yeah, it wasn't an interesting tidbit that nobody's ever played a Texas team. With all this out-of-state...
It was because of the rules on cut blocking. Toll didn't want to go because of the rules on cut blocking. If Toll wasn't going to go, then nobody else was going to go. Now, the greatest question I had all week, I'm cutting ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
How good was Melissa, Texas?
Right.
Okay, how good was the team? And I told people, it's not like anything we've ever seen here in New Jersey before because they're so big. Imagine if we put Clifton, Morristown, and give me your favorite Group 2 school, Mike.
Shabazz.
Good answer. Let's put them all together, make one football team. I'm not going to throw anybody under, but none of this soccer stuff, none of this lacrosse stuff, and every boy in that school we're now creating is playing football. That's the number of athletes that like Melissa, Texas had.
So if you were doing a ranking, and we're going to start the ranking on this show, we're going to use your rankings in 3 weeks. We're going to start it because preseason rankings mean nothing. Nothing. Okay? Where would you rank Melissa, Texas?
It's funny because Sabella and I talked about it point blank after the game, and we kind of disagreed. He put him in like a St. Peter's prep class, and I said, no, I see him more as like a really good Passaic County Tech. I'm not ready to put him in the non-public class.
Passaic County Tech lost 46-0.
Correct. I'm saying a really good Passaic County Tech team the last couple of years. In that they had athletes, they had numbers, they had depth, they had some size.
They had coaching?
No.
See, that's
what
we need them.
And the other thing, everybody in high school football, and I'm so lucky to have been traveling, everybody plays the same way. Everybody, when we go everywhere, I'll never forget Grayson plays Bergen in Vito's first game. Grayson comes up, man, they shift around in motion, they go in motion, they get a first down. I could see Vito going crazy on the sideline. We're going to do this on TV. Stoned them. And then it was like the Grayson people were, but that's our offense. We don't have anything else. What are we supposed to do? So once Bosco solved the whole zone read, hey, we're just running zone read, and hey, we should key on the quarterback, Melissa was shut down. The beauty of our schools, public and private, is that the expectation for our players is so much more advanced than it is anywhere else in the country, from my perspective. In that, and I said this to Danny after the game, it's not that you don't run zone read stuff and you can't run it, but you're also, let's give the ball to DeLuca and smash you a little bit. All right, now let's spread it around. We'll throw it to Alvarez down the field. So they're just not one-trick ponies compared to other places in the country. Maybe it's the amount of preseason practice. Maybe it's all the summer practice. But that's the difference I see from New Jersey football everywhere else.
You wrote great stories on Varsity Ace, like the Shane stories were just unbelievable.
He was a riot.
So it's 10-0.
Yes.
Are you saying to yourself, Danny's going to make a quarterback change?
Yes, because I had a feeling because Bosco's defense played really well, and they get the ball back in a 2-minute situation and a chance to drive and like turn the momentum. And it's not like they hadn't moved the ball because they had the block kick and they had a chance to miss the field goal. And Rona made a bad read and it got intercepted. And it was like, I know Danny well enough, and you know Danny well enough. I can accept physical mistakes, but that was a big mental mistake. And and I got a guy on the bench who might be ready to play. I'm gonna put him in.
So at 10-0, do you think they're going to win the game?
No, I did not.
Really?
I didn't, because just lately the Bosco vibe has been, we're just good enough to not finish. Right, Jim? We're just good enough to kind of get there. Our defense is going to do everything to hang us in there. And I even felt, they got the most ridiculous home cooking in the last minute of the game. It was to give Melissa the ball back. Because Bosco breaks a run. The sophomore running back, Thomas, breaks a run down the 20-yard line. So all they got to do is just kind of milk the clock. They run out the game. A magic 15-yard penalty called on Bosco on the offensive line on the first
Well, I'm sure you'd find out the referee was the sheriff's brother or something like that.
So now it's like, well, Bosco...
When the referee introduces himself to some... Buford T. Justice, exactly. But, Coop, the one thing about it, though, is like, the Shanes, listen, they wouldn't have it any other way, but they know that this is going to start sort of the Carson hype meter here. And, you can relate this to even Arch Manning. You know what I mean? Like what he has, but now he opens up against the defending national champs. It's like when you're a quarterback and
Vin, give me that highlight.
You play this kind of competition, there's going to be mixed bag of results. Now, high marks for Carson Shane in this game here. But what lies ahead, you know what I mean, he's probably going to take his lumps a little bit. I mean, we saw this with Dominic Campanelli 2 years ago as a sophomore. He had to fight through it, but by the time they got to MetLife Stadium at the end of his sophomore year, he was a different quarterback. And you know when your name is Shane, when your name is Snee, when your name is Burris, it's like, people have expectations, and guys like you were going to write about it.
It was hilarious. One of the first things Carson said to me was, as soon as I took the field, like the Melissa guys start yelling at me about Jackson Dart, and I'm like,
that's amazing. I
thought that too. I was like, that's amazing.
The sophistication of their fans.
Yeah.
Like, that was unbelievable.
The sophistication of that.
Like, they don't know this kid's going to play.
No.
Like, they're going to, it's like, did they just come up with, oh my God, that's got to be, Joe's kid? Like, wow.
And this is how it goes. I mean, I saw him play freshman basketball last year. When everybody sees him, the first thing they say is, "Oh, his dad is the GM of the Giants, Joe Shane." You know what I mean? So it's it's just how it goes. So in some way, I am happy to see him be successful in that first outing. I mean, just like Bergen Catholic with their two young quarterbacks. Those were two rookie quarterbacks in that game. You know what I mean? That's So this is the deep end of the pool. So when they are successful, it's like, look, you're going to live and die with their ups and downs because they are puppies.
It had a big game feel walking off the field for Danny.
How many fans?
I pegged it at 3,500.
Nice.
Okay. Because I actually asked one of the security guards, like, are we going to fill up on this side? And they're like, well, it's I can't do a Texas accent either. But he's like, oh, it'll fill up on this. It's our first home game.
If you're going to do this show every week with us, accents are part of the show. We got to do.
But I mean, listen, how many could Don Bosco brought there? 500 at most.
They actually brought a lot more than I thought. But I don't know.
True Bosco style.
The out of state fans like, who the heck are these guys from New Jersey? Why would we draw? But I pegged it 3,500. We lucked out. The weather was mild. But having been with Bosco in Manatee and in Ohio and walked off the field after some really big wins, Danny hadn't had that really since he took over.
It was his first signature win.
It was his first big. People forget about the win in Michigan with Paramus Catholic, though, which was a huge win at the time when he was at PC. So
he also won a state championship at Paramus Catholic in 2016.
Again, you're graded differently when you're at Don Bosco.
No, but the Michigan one, you're right, on the road in the big house.
And honestly, people forget that he beat Bergen Catholic 3 years ago because they got running time 2 months later.
Yeah.
That kind of never happened. You're going with Bergen.
I am going with flying tomorrow. Yeah,
okay.
We got to hurry things up here.
Give us something real.
Do you fly with the team?
No. They banned them. Boca. You're going down to Boca.
Boca. It's so funny.
Tough area.
Yeah, we're talking. We're talking about Chaminade Madonna before. This is a team that played West Boca played Chaminade Madonna in what we would call week 00 and lost 18-10. They got to run so. Having seen Chaminade Madonna 2 years ago put the whipping on Bergen Catholic, they were the second best high school team I ever saw. St. John Bosco was the best when they played.
You thought St. John Bosco was better than Chaminade?
Because DJ Ugolele, however you say his name, blew my mind as a quarterback. At the time, of course, he ended up totally washing out.
Yeah.
The Chaminade Madonna, they played at a different.
The speed.
The speed was something, but
they put 60 on them too.
I remember.
He was there.
And Jeremiah Smith, it was ridiculous. Like I have all these highlights of Jeremiah Smith running wild in the secondary. Who is this kid? They're like, oh, okay. Yeah. I still peg St. John Bosco. They were just because Bosco was really good, and I just thought that St. John Bosco blew my mind.
Bergen win this week.
You never know. What I think is. The way Bergen, two things. The way Bergen won week 0 against East St. is huge because if they get down 14-0 and they're not getting any calls because they're not going to get any calls, it's going to be hot. They're going to have that. Somebody will make a play. You know what I mean? Somebody will make a play.
Let me ask you though, as a journalist, you deal with the narrative, you deal with the storyline. So Bergen Catholic in their last 4 years is 46-3. We just chronicled the 3 losses: IMG, Chaminade, and Bosco.
Yeah.
You go back to the great run for Toll and Don Bosco, 2006 to 2011. They win the 2 national championships. They're 70-1 in that, with St. X being the only one. Those are 2 dominant runs. I used to tell him all the time, you'll never see this again in New Jersey, where in this heavyweight division, somebody just takes control and just 6 in a row, right? And lo and behold, here we are with 4 in a row. But sandwiched in between those two runs, it ends in 2011. Paramus Catholic with Peppers goes back-to-back in 12 and 13. But I always thought this was a very interesting time in non-public A. 2014, St. Peter's wins. 2015, Don Bosco and Tommy DeVito. 2016, we just mentioned Dan Sabella and Paramus Catholic. 17, Nunzio wins, his first with Bergen Catholic. And then 18, Augie wins, his first with St. Joe's. So in those 5 years, you had 5 different champs. So you had the 6-peat for Bosco, the back-to-back Paramus Catholic, the 5 different champs, and now the 4-peat. What's the better narrative for a sports guy?
Dynasty. Easily the Dynasty.
No question.
Because, unfortunately, I can pinpoint the exact moment, and I bet you guys can too, when I thought the Bosco Dynasty was over.
Gilman.
That's
close.
Well, they beat St. Thomas Aquinas the next week.
Close.
Right?
I was
at Army.
No offense with 92 yards of total offense.
20 to 10.
Yeah.
No, when Bergen beat them up at Granite Hill when they onside kicked and they had the ball the whole third quarter, it was just kind of like the football gods have arrived and they have told Bosco.
I know when you thought it was over. That night DePaul went in there and beat him.
I did.
And
that was big too. I remember that too.
I did.
So, but I thought you were going to ask me which dynasty was better, and I'm sitting over here thinking to myself, I almost
which one's better.
Oh, I think it's so much harder now. You can say they went 70. How many games were against New Jersey Public Schools?
Well, but they still have the resume against all those out-of-state points, and they had a ridiculous record against the out-of-state team.
Any team that Brian Toll plays on.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There was
it's just the game. If they lined up, it'd be a heck of a football game. I
got to get Vin to bed because he looks like he's going to get a shot of yourself, Vin. You look like you're going to fall asleep over there. My God. So what we're going to do? There he is. Hey, everybody, give Vin a hand, man. This guy put on a show tonight. Next week, I know we want to talk about Group 5, public school Group 5. Sure. Let's do it next week. Let's get into it because it was an awful start. I mean, aside from Ridgewood beating Clifton.
But that part is fun. It's kind of like, well, who's going to come up and who's going to rise up in Group 5? Is it Hackensack? Is it Passaic County Tech going to put it back together when the quarterback comes? What's going to happen in Group 5?
No, we'll do it. This was great.
15 years I waited for this.
No, it's good. Well, you brought your football, so that was important.
All right, good enough.
Flying the coop with the great Darren Cooper, Varsity Aces. Nobody does it.
By the way, Brian Toll's on the phone. He wants the ball.
You're funny. He's waiting outside.
Brian,
all right, so we're talking to all the young broadcasters in the Super Football Conference. We're talking to Don Bosco. We're talking to Wayne Hills. We're talking to all the schools that love to produce high school football and call their own games. We want to get your calls on this show every week, all right? So figure it out. Get to your athletic director. They'll reach out to Tom or Dennis. We want the calls of the week. No excuses, because I'm getting too old. I cannot do this that much longer. So calls of the week. And then the Super Football, he'll do this forever.
Just started.
I know, I'm already burned. We're so late already. I thought we'd be done by 8. And then the Super Football Conference, is coming up with things every day. They want to get the fans involved every week. Okay? So as we go to break, here's how you can get involved if you want to become the best fans in the Super Football Conference.
So you think you have the best fans? Then prove it. This season, the FSC will highlight the best fans in student sections. And at season's end, we'll select the best fans of this football season. But you can't win it if you ain't in it. So send your photos and videos to admin@superfootballnetwork.com. SFC Fan Base of the Week is presented by Apple Green. Enjoy your journey.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
Sport performance is a team effort. As former athletes and now psychotherapists, we want to help athletes train their minds with the same commitment that they train their bodies.
Through team workshops or one-on-one sessions, we will help athletes and teams develop skills like confidence, focus, and visualization.
We will help them learn to bounce back from mistakes,
manage nerves, and think clearly under pressure.
At the Lucan Center Sports Performance Program, we help support athletes and their support systems work at their best.
Book an appointment today to see how you can train your mind and elevate your game.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
I love high school band. I swear to you, I was getting chills watching it. When we were rehearsing, getting ready, we could hear the band. We're up on, what floor are we on, Mike? Vin, what floor are we on? We're on 2?
Yes.
And we could hear that band, and we are joined now. Listen, this band was put together in 1938, and they've been kicking butt ever since then. You know, band festival, 78 years strong. Nobody's done it like the Mustangs of Clifton High School. Band director Brian Stepneski. Brian, great to have you, man.
Thank you for having me.
There is nothing like a high school band. And now we got the drum major, Gabby Labaki, right?
Yes.
I have that right? All right, so.
Who shares the same title as you? The leader of the band.
Oh, you're funny.
The leader of the band.
Yeah, but she doesn't swear like I do.
Exactly.
So you become drum major. Mm-hmm. How much pressure is it being a drum major of this school, this band?
Oh, it's so much pressure because of the tradition, because like drum majors past, comparing yourself to them, living up to that standard. So it's a lot of pressure, but it's a lot of fun.
Mike, do you know what a drum major does?
Right.
Got the idea right.
But I mean, like, really, I mean, if, like, you know, Gabby, you're in charge of the band rehearsals, right? Performances, you lead them, right? I mean, like, you pretty much, even when you're out there live, I mean, you're kind of the way they look, the way they go, it all comes down to you, and you give some direction.
Right.
And that's like how do you choose the drum major? Like, in other words, to say somebody, you know, it's like, is it like choosing like the quarterback of a football team? Like, that kid is a drum major.
I don't know if we could draw that comparison quite, but in Clifton, at least, the process begins as a sophomore. Any band member, any second-year band member, has the opportunity to start training to try out the following year. So it's a 2-year clinic process. We do weekly clinics all through the winter and spring every year, leading up to a competitive audition or a tryout in May. So Gabby was up against 2 other candidates, and it's rigorous. Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, yeah.
It's high pressure. She's only the 87th, drum major we've had.
So you've been doing this 10 years, Brian.
This is my 10th year.
You played trumpet here.
Yes.
You graduated in 2009.
I'm a Clifton kid. Yes.
You're a kid. It's, so when you put together this, okay? I remember I grew up in Norwalk, Connecticut, and the Norwalk High School band was no joke. Okay. And a lot of people said the band practiced more than the football team. And the football team had a couple of NFL players. Mm-hmm. How much time every day do you put into practicing?
All right, so we'll start with band camp. Oh. We do 3 days. We go 8 to 12, 1:30, 4:30, 7 to 9 every day, 2 weeks straight.
You sleep at the school?
No, we go home. Oh. And everybody goes home because you need to rest after a day like that. And then day to day, we do 2:30 to 5 every day. With the exception of game day, got to go home early, get back to the stadium in time.
All right, one of the problems I have with high school bands, and I pray to God you both answer this question the right way.
I'm nervous.
I see high school bands play up until halftime and then leave.
Oh, no.
You stay?
Yeah.
My man. That's it.
The role of the band is more than halftime.
I almost didn't ask. But too many bands leave because they want to go. Listen, I might be wrong because there's nothing like a band. When you guys start playing, you can hear yourselves coming. You hear you coming over the hill and everything. I think, and again, I don't live the band life and everything. To me, the biggest thing when I think high school band, I think high school football, I think Memorial Day parade, and then I think everything else is gravy. Is that fair, Gab? So what are your do you get excited on game day Fridays?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of anticipation.
Do you wear your uniform, your drum major uniform to school that day?
No, so...
We've got strict rules.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Does the football team get to wear their jerseys?
Oh, yeah, cheerleaders in football do jerseys. Marching band, though, we
Can't
we do
put her in a drum major?
Talk to the supervisor.
Yeah, no, that's my call.
Oh, really?
We dress up. So men wear
It's got a
shirt and
tradition.
tie.
The man's got a
Ladies wear the
tradition.
equivalent of that.
Nice.
Yeah, the uniform. It's not costume. We can't wear that.
Yeah.
We don't eat in uniform, so they wouldn't be able to go
You,
to lunch.
you just said they started in 1930. There's traditions here in place. You know, I think that the one thing is, we're always drawing a parallel to sports, and band is not that much different than football in that you have to have a feeder program. In order to have 80, 100 kids in the Clifton band, they have to come up. They don't just walk through the door and you put a trumpet in their hand, right? I mean, so I would imagine the grammar schools around here, the middle schools, right?
We start personally, Mustang Band. We start recruiting third graders to get them
Really?
excited.
You're worse than a Catholic school for football.
Yes, see?
But we start them in fourth grade, actually, on
No,
the
Mike,
instrument, and it feeds
eighth
its way
grade
up.
is all fair game now.
He said third grade.
Third, wow.
We plant the seed. We get them interested.
I love it.
They start
That's-
playing in fourth, though.
Wow. So when you're in the band at Clifton High School and you walk around the school, people know you're in, people love the band here, right?
Some people I haven't even, I don't even know them, and they come up to me and they ask me, I've seen you, you're the drum major. And this school year hasn't even started yet.
That's pretty wild.
No, I mean, my gosh, because you stand up on
A ladder.
On the ladder.
Exactly.
That's also.
And even in the greater community, we have a reputation for decades.
Well, it's so funny. So a young guy that I coached when I was coaching high school baseball at Central Catholic up in Norwalk a long time ago, Timmy Delane, went to Notre Dame, met a girl who went to Notre Dame, and he introduced me to her. And, hey, where'd you go to high school? Clifton. I'm like, oh, my God, you got the best band in America. She goes, how did you know that? I'm like, everybody knows the Clifton Marching Mustangs. Of course. Everybody. So do you get competitive with other bands?
So the unique thing is our style, old Big Ten style show band is we're the only band in our area that does something like that. You mentioned Shabazz a lot. They also do their own show band style, but it's more like HBCU.
Yeah.
So it's hard to compare us to your average core style marching band. So we don't compete in that way.
Okay.
But,
do you like the Shabazz band?
I love them.
They're
Yeah, follow them on
incredible.
Instagram.
They're so good.
You mentioned the college. What's your favorite? In other words, is it the Notre Dame fight song? Is it Michigan Hail to the Victors? What's the favorite one that you like from existing big time colleges?
Buckeye.
The Buckeye. You like
Buckeye
that? Yeah.
Battle Cry's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our main fight song here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because a
nice.
lot of what we do is modeled after.
Yeah.
You know,
Ohio
Mike,
State.
one thing too that is incredible about Clifton High School under the direction of their AD Tom Mulady is that when you have a band, and you know this from other guys that have bands, it's like you have to get field time. It's like anything else. It's like who's on the field, the soccer team, the football team. Well, a band needs a lot of time. They need a lot of space. You can't just tuck them in the corner. It's not a problem here at Clifton. It's not a problem at all. They built the band their own field.
Is that
The
true?
band has their own turf field here at Clifton
Full
High
football
School.
field. Yeah.
Really? That's incredible.
fortunate,
Yeah.
Where'd you get that information from?
Listen, I've been snooping around.
That's where we were when you heard us before.
Yeah, they were on their own.
The next time we're here, I'm going to come out before I come in.
Now, does
Check it
anybody,
out.
do any of the
I wanna see
sports
it.
teams
I wanna see
try to use your field?
Well, I mean, we share in the off season, so
Good.
lacrosse uses it a lot,
I
and
love
then
it.
Soccer if they need it. But
How many?
it's our season.
And you have 80 members, right?
91.
Yeah, 91.
91.
Wow.
Yes.
Brian Stepneski, Gabby, incredible. I'm going to come by when I'm in here to do the show.
You're always welcome.
I want to come by and watch it. You guys were great. Thank you for hanging out. He talks a lot. We kind of went a little longer than we thought we were going to go, but we'll clean it up, and we wish you the best of luck.
Right at the top of your college resume.
Thank you very much.
Leader of the band.
How about these guys? Incredible. These Clifton guys. Vin, Mark, Mike, incredible.
All right. Standard here.
Vin, wake up. Player of the week. Give it to me. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Give me a little music, boys. Danny Ferrillo, Wayne Valley. What an absolute incredible game he had in that wonderful victory against Cedar Grove. 37-31, 12-17, 273, and 4 touchdowns. Push those highlights, Vin. Last year he threw for 2,230 yards and 17 touchdowns. 6'2", 190 pounds. He could flat out rip it. He's going to have to rip it again this week because you know who they play? You know who Wayne Valley is playing, Jim?
Who they got?
They're playing Northern Highlands.
Oh, man.
They're playing Northern Highlands. Vin, Coach of the Week. Push it. Here we go. Give me a little music, boys. Dave Ford, Northern Highlands. We talked about it multiple times. They go down there, down to the Ocean City. They beat Holy Spirit, the runners-up in non-public B last year. Just a wonderful, wonderful job. The Westfield grad, that makes Reno happy. 36 years old. 4th year running the show. He replaced your guy, Russo, over there. They haven't missed a beat. And when he filled in for Chuck Johnson as the interim coach, the coach wasn't doing well in 19 and then the COVID year, he won as an interim coach a state regional championship in 2019. I sat and listened to him at the Super Football Conference Media Day at MetLife. He just sounds like a football coach when he speaks.
We're going to do that game. A disciple of Chuck Johnson. You know,
we're going to do that game.
You do two things. You win football games, and you call everybody you see coach. That's a beautiful thing. You don't have to remember. Chuck Johnson never had to remember anybody's name in life. Everybody he sees, what's up, coach?
Then coming down the home stretch, push it. Team of the week.
Woo!
Pascack Valley. Pump that music. They had that victory over Union City. So look at this. Adam Shaw, two-way standout going to Michigan State. 6'2", 190, 16 carries, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns as a quarterback. He threw it great. On defense, 15 tackles, 10 of which were solo. Kai Smith, running back, classmate, 155 and 2. He had 9 tackles. That's how you go to 1-0 as a Group 3 school. Going up to the rooftop at Union City and putting a spanking on Wilbur Valdez's Soaring Eagle.
Yeah, and Shaw's one of those kids playing at a public school who you're pretty confident saying he's one of the best players in the state. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I mean, like he could start on any defense, on any team. And listen, he's a Spartan too, Michigan State. So that's for Coach Robbie B, that was a nice one. The former Saddlebrook coach coming over here, and as Wilbur said, we got pushed around.
Then give it to us. Here's the Super Football Conference Game of the Week schedule. A little music, guys. Pump it so we get off the show with this stuff.
Speaking of which,
are you going to call any of these games? You did one game last week. I'll be over there at your place.
I'll be there on Friday night with you.
So that's this weekend. Next week, Vin, push it. Here we go. So a week out. I'll be back at Paramus Catholic.
Baby.
How about this?
It's incredible.
He ain't going to play, but Iona Prep has a freshman quarterback named
Any relations? There's a football family that's got pretty good quarterbacks in there.
Big Phil's grandson.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. We know, by the way, we know all about him, Mike. All those Jersey roots. Where did he go to high school? Westchester. Come on, Phil.
Be careful, Fitzy. And a couple weeks ago, Chaminade has a really good quarterback. Monsignor Farrell and Del Barton.
Rocco.
That was only a 7-0 game at the half. Farrell turns it over. Del Barton goes on to beat him up pretty good. Cardinal Hayes down a little bit. Let's hope Augie doesn't put it on our buddy C.J. O'Neill too much. All right, couple more, Vin. Here we go. Switch those pages up. And this is, so anything can happen, but that'll be fun. Ramapo Old Tapan on the 19th. St. Joe's Paramus Catholic on the 19th. Pope John BC. That's the first time we'll have BC on the network on the 20th. St. Peter's Prep, who, by the way, will go 4-0 into the September 27th game. Push it, Vin, to the next page. I am already switched off a game to get the St. Joe's, St. Peter's Prep game. The St. Peter's
What'd you used to call this one?
What?
The Granddaddy.
That was Bergen Bosco.
That's right there.
Yeah. Oh, Bergen Bosco. I didn't even see that. I'm so into St. Joe's and I'm so into St. Peter's. Bergen Bosco. I think we're going to do a different type production. Northern Highlands, Union City, Seton Hall, Del Barton. So that'll do it. We said the first show was going to be an hour. We went.
And it turned into the Oscars.
Yeah, well, exactly. We got to get you a script. I want to thank everybody at Clifton High School. Vinny, get a shot of these guys over there. They look like they've been through war. Oh, my God. Vin, you okay? Oh, my God. Vin turned 22 on Monday. He's now 27. Oh, my God. You guys, Vin, Mark, Mike, you were great. Everybody, Clifton High School is great. We're excited about this. So week one of this week in the Super Football Conference is in the books. You have anything else you want to say?
No, I want to keep it brief.
All right, good. We're out of here. See you next week.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. Learn more today at kearneybank.com.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
When the game is on the line, you need a team that knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.